It is the middle of June 1776. On the second floor of a three-story brick house in Philadelphia, Thomas Jefferson is writing feverishly. Jefferson is drafting what will become a formal Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. He has labored over the document for many hours, trying to express the colonists' many grievances with King George III. Jefferson is searching for just the right words to justify a rejection of allegiance to King George.
Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government.
With this elegant phrase, Jefferson redefines the source of legitimate power. In America, the people will rule. Jefferson's fellow Virginian, James Madison, considered the American Revolution a rejection of the old world idea that the people were made for kings, not kings for the people. The Declaration of Independence made clear that all new governments in the former colonies should have the consent of the governed. The people, not kings or parliaments, would be sovereign. It was a revolutionary idea that had never been tried before on such a grand scale. The newly independent Americans spent a dozen years of trial and error working out a practical way to provide for this popular sovereignty. Their early experiments were not very successful. The nation's first constitution, the Articles of Confederation, was not even ratified by the people at large. And many state legislatures also adopted constitutions without seeking the consent of the people. Some of these new state constitutions gave their legislatures broad and even sovereign power. But many Americans were not happy with this situation. Madison himself complained that an elective despotism was not the government we fought for. As a solution, some suggested that state legislators be turned into little more than puppets of the people's desires. It seemed the new nation's first experiments in popular sovereignty offered only two options: despotism or anarchy. Delegates gathered in convention in Philadelphia in the summer of 1787 to amend the Articles of Confederation. Instead, they scrapped that form of government altogether. The new government would be a republic, designed to fulfill the mandate of the Declaration of Independence by deriving its just powers from the consent of the governed. It would be based on a written constitution ordained by we the people in their sovereign power. The elaborate and exhaustive manner in which the U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1787 and 1788 made it clear that it represented a higher law that could be changed only by the people exercising that sovereign power. The powers delegated by the people to those who governed them would be limited. At the same time, the framers wanted those powers to be sufficient to govern effectively and to be protected from popular pressures. This new government did not go unchallenged. Anti-federalists argued that the means provided for its ratification did not fairly represent the will of we the people. They also feared that the government was too far removed from the people and would eventually undermine democracy. Federalist supporters of the Constitution won the day, but over 200 years later, we continue to explore the meaning of popular sovereignty.